Hey everyone, this is Marathon Money Plus. This is your boy Kenny Coins. I'm with Henry today, and he's also a fellow trader, fellow finance guy, but he's out in the UK, and I think a lot of people um, would love to hear from him because we do get like 50 messages, 60 messages per week about somebody asking, "Hey, I'm from the UK. Do you guys do any stocks over here? Do Forex over here?" and stuff like that. And I think he might be the perfect guy to kind of give you that feel of like a expert. So Henry, tell me, how does the market work over there?
Okay, I'm gonna first start by telling you about myself, and I actually run my own company, HC Strategies, and what we do is basically helping busy people to be able to trade and invest in the financial markets. So we teach you, walk you by the hand. People from different walks of life. I've mentored people that are doctors, lawyers, janitors, people that work in warehouse, all kinds of walks of life. And I've realized one thing when it comes to trading and investing, you don't need to be a smart person to be able to trade. You don't need to have some level of degree or in uni. Some people, they're like, hope this is not going to be too complicated for me. And I always tell them the same thing. As long as you're ready to put in the work, put in the time, you will learn how to do it, because how we train people is we first understand where you are, whether you have zero experience. And then the next thing we do is we evaluate your knowledge base and we go with that. We try to use very simple concepts, simple explanations with things you understand. We don't do one size fits it all. Everyone gets a course. We don't do all that kind of stuff, because the way you explain something in this course may not align with the next person, because their knowledge base doesn't really align with what you're saying. So that is why every single person we help, we basically craft the videos specifically for that person. And this is my seventh year in the industry. I do invest, train people. I train people at UK Trading Academy as well as their chief market analyst. So it's an MBA accredited education company as well. And one thing I would say when it comes to trading is you have to be dedicated to learn. So just the same way you go to school or nursery when you were a kid or primary school is pretty much the same thing. You have to allow yourself to learn. Don't think that I know it all, because you can never know it all in the market. The market is the teacher. The market will teach you. The market will humble you. And if you've never been humbled, you will think you are a genius.
Yo, I feel like that's such a good point. The market will humble you. You would think you might get in there, you make three or four good trades, and then you think you're a god, and you find out the next 1 or 2 years you're not making no money and you're
Absolutely.
losing. So you're definitely right, man. Man, dude, congratulations. To have a incredible credit course like that, um, put some credibility behind you. Um, that's awesome. I think a lot of people definitely would be definitely interested in something like that. Um, so first question, are you is it just forex, stock markets? What exactly are you getting if we jump into this course? Like what are you getting?
So
And I
basically, what
understand the strategies. I understand that, and I understand stuff.
yeah.
But like, is it just going to be forex? Is it just going to be U.S. stock market? It's going to be UK.
So excuse me. So what I focus on is firstly is Euro US dollar trading, which is Forex. Then I trade NAS 100 as well, US NAS 100
Yep.
indices. And then I trade Ethereum a crypto. Ethereum is crypto. I do trade that as well. And then I invest in crypto and the stock market for the long term. So that's basically how I spread it. So I have different portfolios for different asset class. So I don't try to combine using the same portfolio for trading, for investing in crypto or stock markets. I diversify the portfolio accordingly. I have a portfolio for big caps, which is big companies. For example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the other big cryptos. And then I have a smaller portfolio for small caps, which they are literally in like a few millions in market cap. So they are also high risk, but they're high reward as well. These are investment that could literally do like a 50x, 100x, and stuff like that. And they can also go to zero. So,
Every investment can go to zero. Every investment go to zero. Um,
yeah,
I want to talk about the psychology that that comes with learning all the stuff you learn. Um, what advice would you give the traders who struggle with the maintaining the discipline during volatile market conditions? Because I feel like right now, I know you probably know this. I don't need to tell you this, but last week in the U.S. stock market, we did not have a good week. The Nasdaq did not have a good week. The Dow was down. Majority of the stock market's down. Everybody's anticipating federal rates cut. So tell me how somebody who's a beginner that sees all this, that comes into the game, that, let's face it, psychology is a big factor in investing and trading in business. How your mindset is also a factor of how well you're going to do. So what would you
absolutely.
tell somebody like me in these type of conditions that you're seeing?
Risk management, that's the word. So, risk management is a crucial part of trading and investing. And if you don't know how to manage risk, you're just going to lose all your money eventually. Because, like it or not, the market is going to go up. Like it or not, the market is going to go down. What goes up must come down. The stock
Yes.
market was actually designed for it to go up, but eventually the manipulation brings it down. The question is, will you be patient enough to stick to whatever asset class you're investing in, whatever, let's say it's Apple, for example, and then, or NVIDIA, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's had the worst week ever, this and that. So many people are jumping out because they bought at the top.
Yes.
This is
Correct.
the problem people have. People only want to support a company when it's doing well. That
I
is
think that's I think that's everything. Everybody wants to
everything.
support everybody when they're doing well. Nobody
Exactly.
wants to support when the company's coming up.
Exactly. It's pretty much the same in companies and supporting their friends, their family.
Everybody, yeah, it's
They
everything.
just they only want to support when it's going up. And that is the worst mindset when it comes to trading, when it comes to investing.
When it comes
And
to anything,
yes, absolutely. And if you've ever gone through my videos, you'll see that when the market is actually crashing, I usually make videos, and those videos I talk about what the market is doing and what I'm doing. And when the market is bullish, massively bullish, I talk about what I'm looking at. And if you watch those videos, you will see how I outline this is not the best time to buy. This is the best time to buy. For example, you're talking about NASDAQ. 2 weeks ago, I made a video about NASDAQ saying that it was 3 weeks ago. It was going down. I think it was 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago when it went down impulsively. And then I
yeah,
was talking about how it's going to go up because there's an inefficiency that is at the high side at the top, and price is going to rally into that inefficiency. And then price rallied into that inefficiency. Everyone became bullish. We're going to the moon. And the inefficiency was my target. It's an extreme premium zone. I was
yes,
anticipating for us to see a sell off from that inefficiency. I posted all the videos. They were all on YouTube, on LinkedIn as well, probably where you saw my profile and contacted
Yeah.
me. So they're all up there. You can look them up and see the timestamps, the key levels, price comes in there. And it's all just being patient and believing that this is what I want to see. You need to have a plan. If you don't have a plan in trading, you've already planned to fail, even in investing, even in life,
Yeah.
just literally everything. If you don't have a plan, you've already planned to fail. So when the market is going up, what is your plan? Are you planning to take profits, or are you planning to get in when it's going up? Because if you're getting in when it's going up, it's high risk at that point. People
Yes.
don't realize that the risk is higher when the market is going up. It's way higher when it's going up.
Yes.
It's lower when it's going down. If you know where you're buying from, why are you buying from this certain key level? It's just like Bitcoin. When Bitcoin hit all-time high, I think that was earlier this year. So many people were jumping on board 100K next. I made a
Yep.
video and I was like, this is literally the worst time to buy Bitcoin.
It
Everything
is.
was flashing greed, extreme greed. The sentiment in the market was extreme greed. Now, I don't trade with sentiments, but at the same time, I don't want to be in the market for a buy when the sentiment is extreme greed. It means dumb money is in the market, smart money is out of the market. But when
Yeah.
there's extreme fear, for example, look at what's happened to Bitcoin right now, crypto, the
Everything
sentiment
is
is
down.
everything is down. The sentiment is fear.
Yeah.
That's the sentiment now. But I talked about this months ago that I wanted to come down here. And the key levels I'm watching, when price comes in there for Ethereum, I'm looking at literally one of the most impulsive moves to the upside. Now, I don't want to share too much detail so someone doesn't jump in and put their life savings.
Oh, you know what's funny? You remember when Bitcoin was under 20,000? It was roughly around 5,000.
Yeah,
And then it was the first time Bitcoin went up to 20,000, and people was like, "This is going up to 50,000. I'm
yeah,
getting a second mortgage. Um, I'm pulling out loans," and then all this stuff. It was back in 2017, but like it was crazy. And then Bitcoin completely like went down to 3,000. And
yeah,
now, if those people held, they made out a bandit, but the cycle took a long time. But there is a cycle in Bitcoin. I don't know if you know
absolutely.
that there is a
Yep,
cycle. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to it. I do think we're going to go to 100K. I just don't think it's
yep,
anytime soon. I
yep,
think there's a lot of 2 or 3 more cycles and expand of 5 to 8 years that's going to happen that
yep,
before that stuff. And I do believe Bitcoin's going to be around for extremely long time. I think a lot of regulation is going to step in all over the world because
mhm.
what do you think about countries now adapting Bitcoin heavy, like Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil? Like, what do you think about them adapting Bitcoin heavy, adapting crypto extremely heavy now?
I think it's incredible. I think it's absolutely incredible. But at the same time, I think we need some level of regulations. You need to have this and that to be able to launch your own crypto. We need some legitimate documentations for you to prove, yeah, I'm ready to launch my own crypto. But I think it's a good thing for crypto to go global because there are a lot of countries that are unbanked. You won't believe there are countries where you go to and they don't even have electricity, they don't even have any banks in anywhere like 2 hours drive. You'll be shocked. But with Bitcoin, it solves all those problems. People in those countries, they are still paying in cash for every commodity. So Bitcoin is going to bridge that gap. But at the same time, we need those level of regulations to make sure people are not just gonna throw away their hard-earned money and we have all these crypto companies shutting down all of a sudden, going from $1 billion to zero all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So we just need those regulations. For me, I'm a crypto bull forever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and
but I
I
know
love,
those regulations are going to make
yeah,
crypto skyrocket because then more people will feel comfortable to be in those, to be in Bitcoin, to be in Ethereum, to be in Litecoin, to be in Ripple. They'll feel like, okay, now this is more stable, this is more controlled. I'll be in it. I think that's going to make Bitcoin blow up even more, and there'll be a
yeah,
lot more stable. But I want to switch the subject to something you brought up, when how people are never with the company at the beginning. So what company are you looking at now?
yeah.
That you're looking at now that
Well,
nobody sees, that's at the beginning, that you're gonna ride with for a couple years?
is it in crypto?
It I want, actually, I want both crypto and the stock market.
Okay. I'm just not gonna share too much information so people don't just take my word for it and jump in
Yeah,
and
but
do
this is your
everything.
personal opinion. This is
But yeah,
something that you see. That's it, with no financial advice.
yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to crypto, the crypto project I'm watching closely is QNT, Quant.
QNT. Yeah,
That's the name, Quant. I'm watching Quant closely. The reason is because of the fundamentals behind the project. So it's all about interoperability, which is basically communication between blockchains. So, for example, right now, me and you are communicating. You're somewhere in America, I'm somewhere in the UK. Think about it, 20 years ago, if you told someone there's going to be this new thing we're going to create and you'll be able to speak to someone who's in UK or in US and you talk with them in real time, they'll be like, you're crazy.
yeah,
That's not possible. 20, 30, 40 years ago, we never thought that was possible. But now we're talking in real time. And the same thing in crypto, we need that interoperability, that communication between blockchains. They need to communicate without losing data. They need to communicate really well. And QNT is solving that problem, bringing them all together to be able to communicate with each other. So I believe it's going to be kind of like the heart and soul
yeah,
of the blockchain. And that will really, really be a huge deal. Because if you're going to be the heart and soul of an industry, you are taking up at least 1 to 10%. And currently, let's say we're at 3 trillion, for example, 10% is 300 billion. And QNT is still at like, is struggling to even bypass a billion. So that's literally 300x. But I'm not saying it's not financial advice. Don't go put your life savings on.
no, 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 no. Don't go put your life saving. What do you have, a stock that you're looking at, that you're
So
that
for the
you're that
stock, so the one stock I'm just looking at is Riot Blockchain because of the Bitcoin mining they do. That's
I
pretty much
agree.
what I'm
I
watching.
agree with that one.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
agree with
watching.
that one. That
Yeah.
one. That one. How long you been in that one? For a year,
Well,
two
yeah,
years?
I've been in it. So I bought it the first time 2020 or 2021 before it went to $60 or something. And then I sold it off. Then I was anticipating for a drop. It dropped. Then I started to accumulate again. Another one was Marathon.
Ah,
Marathon
yeah,
is another one too. So they're both good companies, but I prefer Riot Blockchain over Marathon. I would prefer to accumulate more of Riot Blockchain. But both companies, their structure, like before I invest, I do fundamental analysis and then I like to do technical analysis as well because everything the market would do is on the charts unless it's going to new levels that it has never visited. But if it's going to go within any range, the range high, range low, everything is going to
yeah.
be on the charts. When they
It's gonna
say
it's all gonna be between that supply and demand.
exactly,
Yeah, it's all gonna be
so
between that until it breaks supply and goes above it and create new levels. I get what you're saying. Everything's
yeah,
gonna be right there.
It's right there in front of you. When Bitcoin crashed, it was right there. People didn't see it. When it was gonna rally, it was right there. People didn't see it. I made a video when Bitcoin was at 17,000, and I said we're going to all-time high from here. Most people were like, Bitcoin is going to 5K, 4K, zero. And I literally have timestamps on every single one of these videos.
Yeah.
Timestamp. So it's not like I'm telling you,
No, you're keeping track. You're keeping a record of everything. No, it's a
yes,
good thing to have because that's the thing I like about the podcast is that when we say something, we can always go back and this is the times that we did say this is where we're at, and then we got a lot of followers and a lot of viewers from it, and it builds a trust. So what I mean. I do like the way you're doing it.
yeah,
Um, one last question. How important is risk management? Because I do believe 90% of traders, 90% of investors don't really understand the true meaning of risk management. I do. And
yeah,
risk management is what keeps you going.
absolutely.
So, what would you tell people to get them to grasp the understanding of risk management and investing and in trading and just money in general and business in general?
Yeah. So the simplest way to say this is you need to survive. You need to make sure you survive because think about it right now. Let's say you're doing whatever, let's say you're doing something risky and you lose your life, it's finished. That's game over.
Yeah.
That is risk management. You need
Yeah.
to always practice risk management in your portfolio. If you lose all your money, it's game
It's game
over.
over. It's game over. You got to
That's it.
start all over.
That's the end. So you always need to manage risk. You need to survive. If the market is crashing, if you're wrong with your analysis, survive it. There's going to be more opportunities for you to make it back, get back in profit, and the losses will be a thing of the past. But if you don't manage risk and you don't survive, you'll be out of the game. You'll be out. Like I speak to traders every day because I do a one-on-one mentorship every single day. Even after this call, I have a session with one of my mentees, so from Sweden. So I always tell them the same thing: manage risk. A lot of people trade forex or futures, and they say I'm risking 1%, which is great, but I never recommend 1% risk. I don't even risk 1% myself because I don't need to. Now, I have a very high risk to reward ratio with my strategy. I can enter a trade and it will deliver 1:7, 1:5, 1:10. I've even had 1:25 on one trade. It was two entries. First entry delivered 1:10. Second entry delivered 1:15. And I used the smaller time frame, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes for entries. So I don't really need to risk a lot of money to actually make something significant. I literally have risked $300 on a trade and $500 on another trade, and both trade made me $5,000 each.
Wow. Wow.
So I don't need to risk a lot because if I take that loss, I want to be able to sleep at night.
And that's the key.
That's the thing. I want to be able to sleep at night after I take a loss. But if you don't manage risk, you're not going to be able to sleep at night. You'll be thinking about your rent, thinking about your bills unpaid.
You definitely, man. You're gonna be thinking about anything, and then you know what you're gonna do. You're gonna try to go back into the market and try to get your money, and then that's
And
the
then you
worst way
lose
to.
more.
Then you lose more. It's the worst way to try to get your money back. When you're
That's the thing.
frustrated, you're agitated. Is the worst way. You're not gonna make good decisions.
Absolutely. So you just have to manage your risk at all times. If you take a loss, it's normal in trading. You're going to be wrong. You're also going to be right. That's the thing. You just have to stick to it so long that you will be right more times than you're wrong. I was watching this video by Alex Morsey one time a few years ago when I was struggling with trading, and he was talking about, he said that you can start something now, something you're passionate about, and you will not really be doing so well in it. But think about it this way: if you keep doing that for the next 1 year, you'll get better. And you keep doing it again for another 1 year, you realize that you've even become way better than you were the year before. 3 years down the line, you're now a guru. Four
Yes.
years, people will see you like a genius. They're like, wow, this guy is phenomenal. But they didn't know that this was a testament of you being a loser for years. Year after year, you were a loser. You were learning from your losses, from your mistakes. And now you've become a master. You've mastered that skill set. Mastery, basically using subconscious resources to do something perfectly without even thinking about it. Just like tying your shoes. You can be talking to me right now and tie your shoes without even looking at the laces. That's
Yeah.
mastery because you've done it 1,000
Thousand
times.
times. You're 100% right.
The same way in trading, you have to do it 1,000 times, 1,000 trades. I tell people, if you've not put in at least 1,000 hours and you're not seeing the results you want, and you've also not put in 1,000 hours, then you don't deserve the mastery because you've not put in the work. It doesn't even matter whether you're smart, intelligent, even if you have the lowest IQ and you put in the work, you will learn how to trade.
Yep.
I've mentored people. One of my mentees, he he actually graduated from my mentorship 2 months ago. He's 60 years old. 60. He's Indonesian. He can't even speak good English. His English is not even perfect. And I don't know how to speak Indonesian. I talked to him in English. And he was able to learn how to trade. Got funded too. Why? He put in the time, the effort. Most people in their 60s want to retire.
Yeah.
But he was like, no way, I need to leave something behind for my kids, for my grandkids. And he stuck to it. Dedication. Every single day, he was watching videos, he was asking me questions, jumping on the live sessions, putting in the time, the effort, everything, his life and soul, blood, sweat, and tears, every single day. Mastery. And he was able to learn it. So if I see young people be like, trading is hard, I'm like, you don't want to do it. That's just your excuse. You're giving yourself an excuse of you not being
Everything is
able to
hard.
do it.
Everything is hard, man.
Everything is
Anything that everything you want to be, if you want to be successful, is gonna be hard. Anything you want to do that has some type of glory at the end is gonna be hard.
everything is hard. Like being a loser is hard. Being a winner is hard.
It's hard. Pick one.
So,
Pick one. They're
so
both hard, man.
just choose
You know,
one.
just choose
Which one
one.
you want to be?
Yeah, and
Because
they both comes with their own consequences.
exactly.
So, but
You know.
man, dude, you're doing amazing things, man. I really like. I definitely got. We gotta jump on a more technical podcast and talk about, like what are you seeing out in the market? What are
Yeah.
you seeing for the future of the world? What companies you think are gonna be dominating in the next 5, 10 years? Um, AI is the biggest thing now.
Yeah.
So right now, but that's gonna be for another show.
Yeah.
But man, I really appreciate you coming on here. I definitely gotta get
Absolutely.
you on another show. Hopefully next year we can do a show in person.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of the goal. But
Absolutely.
man, I appreciate you and everybody that's listening, everybody that's viewing in that Marathon Money Plus podcast. I appreciate it. Thank you, Henry, and have a good weekend.
You too, man. Thank you so
All right.
much for inviting me over. Hopefully we'll do more like this
We will.
eventually.
We will. Definitely will.